Hello to everyone. Welcome to today's mental health and wellness event, Less Stress, Exploring the Benefits of Mindfulness. This is hosted by the Mental Health and Wellness Group on the Meliora Collective platform. And my name is Michelle Cavalcanti and I work in alumni relations, and I will be moderating this event today. You can find closed caption available in your navigation bar, and we're welcoming LaDonna, who's our captionist today. We're also welcoming Ali, who will be interpreting for today's event. Just going back to the Mental Health and Wellness Group for a moment, it provides information and resources on mental health and wellness strategies and shares practices that seek to support our university community. We encourage discussion, sharing of resources, articles, blogs, and books, and more. So please join. And you can find some of our alumni who are working in this space, from mindfulness practitioners to nutritionists to mental health and wellness experts. We also have many resources listed in the group's resource page, including the university services for students. If you're not a member of the Meliora Collective platform, we're putting a lot of links in the chat right now for all of you. It is about connecting with your university community, career exploration, mentorship, and networking. You can also use the link that's in the chat if you are a student, a grad student, an alum, parent, faculty, or staff to join today. We have over 10,000 members and it keeps growing. We also have created a useful page where you can find more health and wellness resources being offered by alumni relations and across campus, also in the chat.
I thought I did.
And I'll just remind everybody to stay on mute. And then the other thing that we'd like to do before I introduce Laura is to mention that our other presenter, Melissa Schmidt, is not able to participate in today's event, but we are going to reschedule her to present on nutrition and physical activity and how it helps with our stress later in the spring. So now I would like to introduce our mindfulness expert, Laura Gavigan, from the Warner class of 2008. She also received her master's from Warner in 2015. And now she's serving as one of our alumni coaches too. So you can find her on our coaches page, also going to be posted in the chat. Laura is the owner of Mindful Matters 585 LLC, and she is a certified mindful meditation instructor at the University of Rochester. Working as an educator for many years, she became interested in how life can inherently create stress, anxiety, and compassion fatigue. Having experienced this burnout firsthand, Laura sought therapy, professional development, and mindful meditation practice to understand the ways stress can lead to burnout and chronic health problems. Ultimately, she learned how to compassionately care for herself and thrive personally and professionally. Laura has led introductory and advanced mindful meditation courses for several years. The Mindful Matters team offers coaching, mindful classes, guided meditation, therapy, compassion fatigue workshops, as well as Reiki and yoga retreats locally in Rochester and internationally. I believe you will also find a link to her website. The program emphasizes a mindful approach through insight, practice, community to help people thrive rather than just survive. Laura is going to give a presentation. And while she's doing that, you can send me any questions that you have, and we'll be doing a short Q&A at the end before Laura will do a guided meditation for all of us. So I'm going to say welcome to her, and I look forward to hearing this presentation. We all need it, Laura, so welcome.
Well, I think everyone's human in this group, so yes, we all do need it. Thank you, Michelle. I so appreciate the opportunity to be here today, and to everyone in the Zoom room audience, thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. I'm just going to bring up my presentation and I'll okay. Michelle or Becky can give me a thumbs up that you see that okay and you can hear me okay? Great, thank you, thank you.
That looks great.
So Michelle covered this part. I'm just going to talk a little bit about mindfulness, what it is, maybe what it isn't, how it can help, and how it's helped me. So yeah, mindfulness is going to solve all your problems and not involve any work at all. That's what I'm telling you. But no, it's not. It's not a quick fix. It's really not like that, but it can be so helpful and be something that you can add to your lives, whether it's professionally, academically, for your family, personally. Just learning a little bit about mindfulness and practicing it and being curious and open to the ideas that I'll present can just be a really helpful thing in your life, because finding some space and balance for ourselves just kind of takes the volume down a lot. And I saw this little cartoon this morning and added it in last minute to the presentation because I just thought it was so funny. You know, how hard it is to stay in the present moment without thinking about what's happened in the past and then what you need to do in the future. I mean, even as I'm speaking, your mind might be wandering to all the things that happened earlier today, this week, this month, your life. And then in the other direction, what you need to do and think about later today and so on. If we can find ways to stay anchored in the moment, it doesn't mean that all those things, you know, go away or you don't need to do them, but it's really a lot less exhausting, because doing that to ourselves constantly, thinking and worrying and planning, it takes you out of the moment and it really exhausts you and can lead to more stress, more burnout. Believe it or not, it can be even, it can, I don't want to say get worse, sorry, that's kind of negative. I don't mean that, but these are ways that, that we can help ourselves to enjoy our lives and thrive rather than survive and white knuckling it. So the basic definition of mindfulness is paying attention to our present moment experience, and at the same time, being compassionate with ourselves, being curious, being kinder and gentler to ourselves. And to me, this is a great form of thinking about self-care. And I know we're all seeing the word mindfulness, mindful this, mindful that, and self-care this, self-care that. But on a really deep, radical level, it's up to us to find ways to take care of ourselves and not beat ourselves up when we might, you know, have reactions or not feel well or be exhausted or just not able, like I can't even, you know, we've all felt that way sometimes, and it's okay. It's human, okay? So let me say that definition again. So the act of paying attention to your present moment experience with an attitude of compassionate curiosity. And you read that and it seems really simple, nice and easy, right? And in many ways it is, it's very basic, but it doesn't always feel that way. And so it takes a little practice and understanding, and again, curiosity. So as you pursue this kind of practice and the different ways that you can do it, go easy on yourself. It's not a contest, it's not a competition. This is a little something for you. And it's an approach to life and learning to give ourselves a little space in present moment experience instead of, again, worrying about the future, regretting the past, always thinking, planning, feeling. It can be really exhausting, take a lot out of us. But here's the thing. I don't love to use the word normal, but it's very, very normal because it's what our brains do. It's human. So some of you may have heard about, you know, the idea of fight, flight, or freeze. And basically, this is what our brains have been programmed to do since back in cave person days. because there were a lot more threats and real dangers, such as like a saber-toothed tiger coming at us. And our brains immediately, whether it's a saber-toothed tiger or a conversation with that person that you always seem to maybe have a little bit of a challenge or conflict with, our brains tend to do the exact same thing neurologically. We either fight, so we're reacting and coming at that thing, attacking the saber-toothed tiger, or the getting angry at the person or the thing, and things that we cannot control. So we fight, our brains go into fight mode. It goes into flight mode, run away from the saber-toothed tiger, run away from the thing that is challenging and scary and uncomfortable. And then sometimes we freeze. Maybe we freeze thinking the saber-toothed tiger will think that we're a rock and it'll move on. Or I picture like a deer in the headlights, you freeze, you don't know what to do, you're stuck. So this is what our brain does. It thinks it's helping, and we need it, because if we accidentally step out in the road and there's a bus coming, we want our brains to be like, dude, there's a bus coming, you need to get out of the way, flight right now. But more often than not, our brains are reacting to things that aren't a huge threat. It's something that maybe triggers us, or it shows up as scary or painful or uncomfortable in some way. And so our brains go there. And I want to pause for just a second. And if you'd like, just gently close your eyes for a second and imagine standing in a parking lot. And there is a saber-toothed tiger, and it's ready to come at you. There's no right or wrong answers here. What I want you to do is really envision that, see if you can feel it, and notice where you feel it in your body. And if you can identify, it might be multiple parts of your body. For many people, it's in their belly, kind of clenching, or for me, I'll tell you, it's in my shoulders and my neck. So I kind of, I hunch up and maybe I clench my fist like, oh no, here comes that tiger. So see if you can feel that and notice it. And that's it. You don't have to go further with it at all. Just, I want you to think about how you feel things in your body when you are threatened. And perhaps it's a real threat like a bus or a saber-toothed tiger, but maybe it's maybe it's somebody coming into your space unexpectedly, and they're bringing you uncomfortable news. It can be it's very personal. It could be a wide variety of different things. And just kind of remember that and take it with you through the rest of the presentation. I love this quote because, as I said earlier, these reactions that our brains and our bodies give us, or what we do, how we sense that fear, and maybe we do something with it. We fight and come at that thing, or maybe we stomp away. That can be an example of that, fleeing or freezing in the moment. And then later, you have those like, oh, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had done that. I love this quote, to just gently say to yourself, how human of me. You gently say that to yourself. How human of me. Think about something that maybe didn't go well for you later in the day, or you didn't handle something as you maybe had wanted to, as you reflect on it later. How human of me. I mean, doesn't that sound nice? Like if someone said that to you after you're feeling like you messed up and there's a layer of shame or discomfort, you know, for someone to say to you, yeah, how human of you. It's okay. And it's a way to give yourself some grace to then, you know, move on. How human of me. So the concept of mindfulness is really an opportunity to find some space between how we manage these things, these life human things that are always going to happen. We can't stop them. We can't control them. There's always going to be moments of joy and happiness and extreme comfort. And there's always going to be moments of pain and discomfort and you know, bumps in the road. This is just life. If we can find a way to find some equilibrium with that, so it's not constantly like woo or if with mindfulness you can kind of bring those reactions, you know, a little less extreme is the best way I can say it. And so there are these different skills that we can work into things. And mostly, I'm going to talk about our breath in a little bit and practice a little bit of breathing. But it allows us to maintain our peace, our equilibrium. And it's not that those things are going away or we've immediately solved them. It's not thinking about it or being in denial or repressing it or, you know, holding it in. It's just taking a moment in that moment to find space to respond rather than react. Respond rather than react. All right, so you think maybe thinking to yourself, all right, Laura, this sounds great. Yep. Heard about mindfulness. But how does this thing work? Easier said than done. The really good news is our brains have neuroplasticity, which means that we can, with practice, learn just about anything, including how to find that space between responding and reacting. Don't underestimate your brain power and how it can be, you can shift to this being more of a way of life. It's not gonna fix things. It's not gonna change the thing, but it's a internal power that you have, because that peace and space is in us as well as the human condition to react. And our brain just forgets that we're not facing a saber-toothed tiger. It's trying to help. And then those muscles that react, or our bellies, or our backs, anyone have lower back pain? A lot of this comes from this fear, because when our brain goes to that place and our muscles, they think they're helping, you know, they tense up like, I got you, we can fight this. They're not helping because it's just putting more strain on your body. So let's pause again, one little quick moment, okay? If you're comfortable closing your eyes. And you don't have to actually use a real life situation, but you know, think about where you would tense up in your body, feeling that. Go back to maybe that earlier thing, okay? And I'm gonna do it, for me, it really is in my shoulders. And so I notice when I'm tense, my shoulders will come up here. And just say to yourself, wherever it is, okay, I see you muscles, I see you shoulders. I know you're trying to help, but you're not. You're making my muscles hurt, and maybe even worse. And so what you could do is take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you sigh it out, just, for me, I'm going to let my shoulders drop. Maybe let your belly release the tension. Maybe let your back gently release and feel supported in your chair. And try to, after our time is over today, take that curiosity with you. Sometimes you might notice that you're feeling angry and frustrated about something, and you don't even realize that maybe your fists have tightened up a little bit. Not that you would actually fight anyone physically, but that might be what your body's doing. And so being mindful, paying attention to what's happening, and then inviting some breath and peace into it can be really helpful. Okay. So I want to introduce two really simple breathing exercises to you all to try out. And the first one is called belly breathing. And if you're able, wherever you are, if you can put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, so your chest and your belly. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes, but you don't have to. And begin to notice your breathing, just regular in and out breathing. And then bring your attention to where you're feeling a rising and falling of breath, whether it's your chest or your belly. And keep going as I talk. Most people in their regular day-to-day breathing, we breathe into our chests. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just natural breathing. Bring your attention to your belly. See if you can concentrate on inviting the breath into your belly. Imagine your belly's kind of a balloon. And as you inhale in, your belly rises. And as you exhale, your belly lets the air out. That balloon is being inflated as you inhale and deflated as you exhale. Belly breathing is a way to enact our parasympathetic nervous system. That flight, fight, and fear is the sympathetic. Parasympathetic is when our body and mind become calmer, serotonin is released in your body, and this kind of belly breathing does that for you. That's how amazing your body is, just by taking, maybe 3, 10 deep breaths in and out through your belly. You may notice that it creates more of a sense of calm for you. The next breathing exercise I want to share with you is more of a dynamic and energizing breath. And this one, I just want to say, is it can be done seated, it can be done standing. If at any moment with anything you feel lightheaded or dizzy, or it just doesn't feel comfortable for you, please don't do it. It's not, again, this is not a competition. You're not getting graded. I'm just introducing some different things. Okay. So this kind of breathing that I'm going to demonstrate for you is more of an energetic, dynamic breathing. And it's really useful if you're feeling just, burnt out, exhausted, but you really have to kind of focus on something, whatever that is, and you need to kind of get going. I'm also a huge fan of resting when you can. So if it's, don't use it to white knuckle it through whatever it is. This is just kind of a breathwork pep talk. So inhale in through your nose sigh it out through your mouth. And imagine breathing in new breath and energy and breathing out any lethargy or negativity. So breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, breath out through your mouth with a sigh. And since you're all muted, you can sigh as loud as you want. Nobody's going to hear it. It can be a little vulnerable, and that's okay. This is such a great release of heavy emotion, and it's also energizing when we speed it up a little bit. So now what I want you to do is try to shorten the inhales and the exhales. So a little bit more like this. With this, you can put your hand on your belly and feel, it's not that same rising and falling, but you feel it kind of releasing it in a really energetic way. So like you're blowing out a candle. And if you want to go faster, it can be. So whatever speed you like, and this is something you can, pretty much do anywhere if you need it in the moment, as short or as long as you'd like. So those are a couple of breath skills. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of time today, but there are many more that we can explore. All right. Oh, sorry, this is a little jarring after that. Gently open your eyes. I think that sometimes with wellness and mindfulness, it gets kind of put in our faces like, you can do it anywhere, do it, Nike, just do it. And find this beautiful space in front of water and cross your legs and get on the pillow and all the maybe ideas that we have of what mindful meditation looks like. It can be like that, but it's not practical all the time. And it's not kind to ourselves. So sorry about the all caps, but sometimes I feel like everything is bombarded at us. Like, do this, you should do that. It should look like this. It should feel like this. All of us are different. And you know what, that picture is actually like stressing me out. We're all different. Our bodies are different. Our breath is different. How we experience life and what we react to is different. So this is about finding the level that works for you, that speed of that in and out breath. If that doesn't feel right, don't do it. No pain, no pain. My first yoga teacher, 20 years ago, when I was very reluctant to even try yoga, she's like, just come. And I said, is it going to hurt? And she's like, no pain, no pain. That's my motto with yoga. Everyone is going to look and feel differently, and same with meditation. Okay. So your breath is always your anchor in whatever way you choose to use it. And I'm not saying like, oh, just breathe, because I think that's very condescending. And also like, it sounds like just do it and move on. No, see if you can pause and listen and notice what's going in your body and your breath. Sometimes we hold our breath when we're working on something. Sending an email. I notice I do that sometimes. If I'm working something, I'm really concentrating and focused. I'm like, why am I holding my breath? Notice your breath. Okay. Again, and I'm going to keep saying it with curiosity. Oh, I'm doing that again. Wonder why. Okay, how very human of me. And keep going. Oh, we're already to Q&A. That happened fast. Sorry, that came up on me quickly. Michelle, do you think we're ready for Q&A? Do you have a few things? Okay.
Sure. I thought that was a great introduction. I'm sure that we'll have some follow-up questions to some of your slides. I'm hoping that people will send me questions in my private chat, Michelle Cavalcanti. You can also, just so everybody knows, you can ask the question yourself. So if you just want to tell me that you have a question, I'll just ask you to unmute yourself. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want, but we want this to be interactive. So you can start sending me questions. There were a few that came in ahead of time. So I'll just start us out and wait for people to send in from this group. We had such a wonderful response for registration. And I see a lot of people I know on this call. So I know that we're all in that place of wanting to learn more about how to be mindful. This one is about stress and the effects it has on our sleep cycle. So could you maybe give us some tips to how we might get a better night's sleep if we are stressed, or how we might use mindfulness?
Sure. Thank you. That is such a great question, because everyone, I really think without exception is, stressed in some way these days. And I think of it as sort of like the volume being turned up, especially since, the start of the pandemic and now. So sleep is something that affects a lot of people when they're stressed, and it's very hard to settle our minds down. And so that's part of why we have trouble sleeping, is because our brains are thinking about all the things that happened earlier and all the things that happened later that we didn't get done and we're gonna need to do tomorrow. So mindfulness can be very, very helpful to get ourselves settled to sleep, because sleep is, I would argue, one of the most important things to take care of ourselves. I mean, I know how I feel if I don't get enough sleep. I'm just not functioning the next day, and then it's a cycle that continues. So that belly breathing that we practiced a little earlier, I have found that very helpful from having a hard time settling down. And so because it does create more calming serotonin in the system, do it nice and slow. And a thing that you can add with that, so that you're a trick to really focus on the breath, rather than, okay, I'm belly breathing. Oh, that presentation tomorrow, I'm really nervous about that. Or, oh, I didn't pay that bill, whatever it is. Okay. So that belly breathing, and you can use a counting of sort of in 2, 3, 4, and hold it, and out 2, 3, 4. And by putting those numbers along with it, you have to pay attention. Have to, but it's a way to help pay attention to staying with it, rather than that it's a deliberate kind of breathing. Another nice practice for falling asleep is a body scan, which we won't have time to do in this program today, but very simply, just start at a certain point in your body, like your toes, and invite some breath into your toes, and move up through your whole body, and try to notice, a letting go, a heaviness wherever you're sleeping. That can be nice too.
Thank you. There's a question in the chat that says, how do you disengage from something that just continues? A person who does something deliberately to just push you to a constant, well, you can call it anger.
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced that myself, and it's very painful and it's hard, and I get that. And sometimes there are people and things in this world, like there's no way that we can change them or what they do, or the things. But this comes back to that idea of how we respond to it. And so it's a little bit of like really a hard acceptance that, okay, this is who this person is, or this is what this thing is. It's not going to change. And can I disengage? Can I not interact? And if you have to, you know, can I find the peace within to know that, you know, I'm okay. And I know I don't want to be really cliche and, you know, because the thing about it's not about you, it's really about them, is very true, but it sounds a little trivial. And I don't mean to do that. And it takes some time. Um, I'm gonna share a really great trick with you, okay? Um, when we want to meditate or find that mindful space, it's not always the moment that we can be like, okay, everybody, I'm going to practice this dynamic breathing, or I'm going to cross my legs and meditate for a little while so that I can get in the right headspace to deal with you, right? That's not realistic. Someone in the last 6 months or so taught me a little bit about like stealth mindfulness when you need it in those moments. Okay. So right now, what do you see? Maybe you see my chest. You don't see, we're in the Zoom meeting. You don't see what I'm doing underneath. And so I might be, you know, putting a little pressure between my thumb and my index finger, which is a nice kind of pressure point, releases some calm. Sometimes you could in your notebook draw a square. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Things like that bring you into the moment within, not to be in the moment with this person who is, you know, let's say not helpful.
All right, thank you. Just a follow-up question. You know, when you had that slide about pause
Mhm,
and being curious,
mhm.
you know, when we have these feelings that arise, do you suggest we actually spend time trying to name that emotion or trying to name that? I mean, do you do any journaling or any kind of, do you have any suggestions for how we might be able to kind of identify
Mhm.
what it really is that we're feeling?
Yeah, what a great question. So there's a skill that I teach in the classes that I can do really kind of quick here, and it's labeling what's going on. You know, so you know, to yourself as you're breathing, you know, noticing it and being like, oh, I'm really angry right now, really sad right now, and not following the feelings on it, but naming it, and it's real, and what is in you is real, and you're not pushing it away, but and it can be stronger than that too, in a way, like I'm really angry right now. I'm so angry because this happened. Wow, I'm angry. Wow, I'm feeling that in my shoulders or my belly or my back or wherever. And I really want to do something with it. Like I really want to do something with this, but I know in my heart I'm not a violent person. That's not going to be helpful, whatever. Staying with those uncomfortable feelings in that moment and allowing it lets it kind of float away, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. Well, I don't want to sit with that. That's horrible. Why would I want to sit with that anger? I don't want to be angry. I'm not an angry person. But if you're angry in that moment, it's okay. You don't have to do anything with it, but inside you can acknowledge it. I think, did I answer the question?
Yeah, I
went
think
off.
that's really helpful. I know it helps me when I having a reaction, sometimes we go to the same word. I'm really stressed. I'm really stressed. I'm really stressed, when that might not actually be the most descriptive word for how I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
so I've tried to slow down to
Mhm,
try to name it
mhm.
more specifically. Oh, I'm
Right.
frustrated, or I'm having a sad day, or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And
So
even
I
things
think it is helpful.
we might not want or be able to say out loud. You know, I mean, hate is not a nice word, but like maybe you're feeling hate towards something or someone right now. I did want to say too, with the anger, it triggered a thought for me, Michelle, real quick, that anger comes from deep down, usually fear.
Mhm.
So really angry, is there something that I'm afraid of?
Yeah, asking those questions. I'm sort of along the same line. Are there indicators, that we could kind of recognize for when we feel stressed? And can you give some examples of how it might be manifesting
Mhm.
within
Yeah.
someone, so that we can actually realize when it is stress, or, if we're not quite aware
Mhm.
of these
Mhm.
things all the time?
Yeah, I mean, it's very personal, I think. So, but I can give some examples for sure. And let me think about this. So noticing when you're tensing up in different areas of your body, noticing when something really, really triggers you or activates you with anger or sadness, stress. It's fine to say stress. You're right. And if you can't pinpoint what the exact thing is, stress is fine. Burnout is fine. I know for myself, if I overreact to something that would not have elicited a reaction, the week before or the year before, instead of beating myself up. Like, for instance, there's a candy wrapper on the floor that my son left there, and it's been there for days. And, it's irritating. Why doesn't he see that candy wrapper? But if I feel myself like getting into like a rage about it, that's a red flag for me, because really it's a candy wrapper. There doesn't need to be a rage about it. And this is not to say, I want to just make a point. Candy wrapper is a silly example, but there are real things in the world and our lives that make us angry and grieve and sadness. The idea of mindfulness is not to eliminate these things. In fact, let me switch it up a tiny bit. It also allows us to really enjoy the great things, the happy things, the joy, the comfort, the good stuff too, because everything is temporary and fleeting.
Can you speak a little bit to what you're seeing these days? I know it's a topic we always bring up during virtual programming about COVID, about a lot of the issues that we've all experienced over the past couple of years. Can you talk a little bit about, what you're seeing, and how, and how you've addressed these things with mindfulness practice?
Yeah, so a few things that I've really noticed is that volume being turned up on people's stress and anxiety and fear and anger, and people generally being more quick to lash out, um, everywhere, and not giving ourselves grace and others grace, to kind of say, just like me, they're scared, angry, sad, you know. So that's the one thing, the volume being turned up and very quick to react. The other thing that that really concerns me is I've noticed a lot of people with many physical ailments popping up as a result of the stress and holding these things in, and tensing of the muscles, and chronic pain. And so I'm very interested in the idea of mind body. Um, Mindfulness as a tool for mind body chronic pain and things in our bodies.
Is that something that you offer, Laura? Is
Yeah,
for
we
chronic pain?
do. Yeah, we do some coaching with that. to bring in some mindfulness practice and understanding that that maybe some of our chronic pain is associated with our bodies telling us that that they're sad or angry. Now, I want to give a disclaimer. I am not a physician, and I'm also not saying that real infections or fractures or a cancer, things like that. I mean, it can help with stress and the anxiety and discomfort that goes along with it. But I do believe that there are a lot of things going on with our bodies, like back pain that came out of nowhere, neck pain that came out of nowhere, that is a result of the stress.
A couple of comments that came in. Will mindfulness make us less sensitive in the long run?
I mean, that's not a hard no or a hard yes, to be honest. It has made me less sensitive most of the time. Again, it's not a, it's not a snap of the fingers, that something like, if you do this, this will happen. But I think as I've, deepened my practice and noticed in other people, that then I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I handled that way different, or I felt that in a different way than I would have a few years ago.
Right. Right. This is going to be the last question because I want to leave time for the guided meditation. So I'm just going to read this one, and then we'll kind of wrap up this portion of the presentation and let you take us out into the day with a meditation. So this one is, I have old hurts and regrets that intrude on my current thoughts and prevent my enjoyment of the present. How do I let go of things that really bother me so they don't spoil the moment?
And it's hard. It's hard. So I think there are many things that help with that, talking about it. There are forms of mind-body therapy where as you're talking about it, you are invited to see where it's affecting you in your body, and noticing that, and maybe even, imagining that you're having the conversation or whatever with the thing or the person that causes you the pain. And actually, let me back up. Like, I'm sorry that you're feeling that. I know that, and it's very painful how it can come up. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Just kind of give a couple of suggestions, letting go of things that really bother, that you're consumed with, so that you can really be present and enjoy the moment that you're in, instead of these other things that intrude.
Right. So it goes back to the idea of you can't
Somebody
get
said,
rid of
how
it.
human of you.
How human of you. Thank you. Oh, I love that.
That's
How
great,
human of me.
Denise.
I did lose my train of thought. And perhaps even got distracted from my own past pains and things, right? How human of me. So it goes back to this idea of not trying to get rid of those things that have happened to us, because they did. And they make us who we are. And it can lessen by staying with it for a little bit and naming the things that it brings up. And so journaling is really helpful. And, write as big and hard, and, it's yours, it's private, say what you want, So I wish I could say more about that. There's a lot of things that can help, but if you breathe, and the calming, and I also practice some other techniques. If you get in touch, I'm kind of interested in tapping, which very quickly is just sort of releasing on acupressure points and saying, that person really hurt me and I'm angry, and it comes up, and I'm doing it super fast just to kind of demonstrate. But I love and accept myself as I am, and is another thing that's out there. Some, some is not for everyone. It can be a little woo-woo. I get it.
I think we're going to have to stop. There are a couple of other questions that we can bring to your attention, sort of asking about, do you do Zoom meetings for people who are outside of the area, and things like what type of practices do you think will help the most?
So I'm putting
guided or just sitting, but I know you want to get to a guided meditation, and I'm not sure. We have 9 minutes left.
Can you capture the questions in the chat, and maybe we can send out a follow-up after?
Yes, we certainly can.
Okay.
Certainly can. Denise, that was very funny. I'm going to use that. So how human. I think that is like the best thing I've heard in a long time. And Denise says, I try to think of anything positive I got out of a bad experience, like a better relationship with someone who was supportive. It helps a little. All good suggestions. And I appreciate everybody's questions, and we will get them to Laura and she will follow up. We will be distributing this video again for people, and the slide presentation, so that people can take a look again. And we really appreciate, I'm going to say thank you to Laura now, because I think what we're going to do is have you just kind of close this out for people who can hold on and try this guided meditation. And then we won't be coming back on in a jarring way, that we can just end the session in a nice, calm way. So thank you, Laura. This was a wonderful presentation. You gave us a lot of helpful hints. So I wish everybody well.
Yeah,
and,
everyone, I'll lead you through a meditation, and I will signal when we're at the end, but please, hopefully you can go on and take a little piece with you. But thank you. I'm honored to be a part of this, and that you all came. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
I'm going to put up a slide that is just sort of like a wavy, thing to gaze at, if you like. And then I'll begin. Okay, so wherever you are, I invite you to sit comfortably and alert at the same time. No need to strain. No perfect way, however you're comfortable. Maybe if you can put your feet on the ground, the floor, the earth. And imagine through the bottom of your feet, or roots, keeping you gently grounded and supported in the earth, and yet flexible. Imagine being a willow tree, sort of gently bending back and forth if you like. Imagine you're strong and supported, and yet flexible and safe. And I invite you to invite a little bit of a deeper breath in and out. Just gently settling into the moment and this time together. And if your thoughts begin to wander, as they do, gently say to yourself, how human of me, and come back to your breath. Just letting whatever those thoughts are float away for now. This meditation I'm going to lead you is called a compassion meditation, loving kindness. metta, whatever it's called. It's about inviting some loving kindness for ourselves and for others. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you feel like you matter. May you feel like you're heard. Bring to mind someone that when you think of them, they bring you immediate joy and warmth and safety. It could be a person, it could be a pet. And offer these words to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you feel like you matter. May you feel heard. Now bring to mind someone who is neutral. You don't have strong feelings about one way or the other. Perhaps the person that made your coffee earlier today or delivered your mail. And offer them the same words, because just like you, they want these things as well. So may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you feel heard. And may you feel like you matter. Now bring to mind someone or something that's a challenge for you. Someone who is more or less the opposite of that person, who brings you joy and peace and safety. And you don't have to go all the way with the most difficult person. Whoever it is, even though they may cause you pain and discomfort, they're human just like us and want the same things. So see if you can offer them the same. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be heard. May you feel like you matter. And finally, let's bring these words of compassion and loving kindness back to ourselves. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I feel safe. May I feel heard. May I feel like I matter. I wish this for all of you. I'm grateful for you being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. Take care.